in the 5th round. So we saw last year the Vikings took Blair Walsh, drafted a kicker, which again is not typically what you do. You just sort of wait for the free agents or a veteran or whatever. But they started him. He turned into a fantastic, rookie, and they cut Ryan Longwell early in spring training to make room for him on the roster. It looks like the same thing is going to be happening with Chris Kluwe here. I mean, you just don't draft a punter unless you plan to play him. And there are these other complicating factors with Chris Kluwe. So Kluwe's known for his outside interests. He's a fanatic video gamer and does video game tournaments. He has a rock band that he plays bass in called Tripping Icarus. He's hyperactive on Twitter, so he's got a devoted following there and very active there. He's got a history of advocacy. And so he has used his position in the limelight and created a sort of a following for himself, advocating for marriage equality. And he also wore a Vote Ray Guy patch on his jersey, for which he was fined by the NFL. Well, and Ray Guy, of course, is the groundbreaking punter for the Oakland Raiders back in the day, who is not in the Hall of Fame and absolutely by any right should be. He's redefined the position. So Kluwe was advocating for Ray Guy being elected to the Hall of Fame, which he should be. But Kluwe is not your typical player for all of these reasons. He's a voracious reader. He's hyper-articulate interview. He's very media savvy. And last season, Mike Prefer's special teams coach, his supervisor, got fed up with him, and he said the distractions were getting old and that Kluwe needed to solely focus on punting and holding. And so you've got that set up. You've got Prefer vocalizing, saying that that Kluwe should basically shut up and stop advocating and just play football. And then you've also got Kluwe's salary. So Kluwe's got 1 year left on his contract with a salary of $1.4 million. You don't expect to pay kickers a lot, but he's also got over 8 years. He holds Vikings team records for career gross average, 44 yards, and punts down inside the 20 with a 198. He's pretty much done everything the Vikings have asked of him to do, and he's had a history, eight years of consistent high-level performance. So, I mean, is it worth it to have that ability when we're not an explosive offense and position on the field is a large part of how we win games. So you've got that set up, and it looks as if, from all those things considered, the Vikings are saying we don't want you more because of your off-field interests than for your on-field performance. And Kluwe has gone on the offensive, doing media interviews, saying he hopes he won't be judged by his off-field interests and that he'd be judged by his body of work. Of course, the Vikings deny that would be the case, but it's all set up so that if he does get cut, which I think is likely, there's going to be questions about whether he was cut because of his advocacy. And so it's a PR problem there that the Vikings are going to have to deal with. Now, Jeff Locke was taken out to the Metrodome by Prefer to do some drills to see what he can do, and and it's been reported in the media that Vikings will reconvene with Kluwe on Monday to determine what the next step will be. And I assume that if Prefer liked what he saw out of Jeff Locke, that the Monday meeting will be one in which Kluwe is cut. So we'll see how that plays out. But it sure looks, from all appearances, it looks like they're set up for some PR fallout by cutting very popular a player who has political, is very vocal on some political issues. So there's that. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Jeff Locke, meanwhile, on April 27th, on his Twitter account, which is Jeff Locke 18, Locke with an E, said after he was drafted, April 27th, said, "I'm grateful to the Vikings for this opportunity to come in and compete. Looking forward to getting to work next week and Skull Vikings. So he's either a very savvy young man, or he's getting some very good advice to say that he's looking forward to compete. You know, there's a punter on the roster. You know, the punter is very, very popular, and I just thought that was very, very media savvy way of going about it. So there's that. We're probably looking at a rookie punter this year, and good luck to Chris Kluwe. He was one of my favorite Vikings, so we'll see. Next is Jeff Baca, who will wear number 60. Tell me what you think of these your thoughts about the Vikings' remaining draft picks. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this podcast, and until next week, go Vikings.